Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. And that's what we talked about this past week, was our heart. We have to look inward in order for us to live the way that Jesus wants us to live. And what pure in heart means is the inward soul. It's something that's within us. And here's what that looks like. It looks like we're being used entirely for God. Our heart is being used entirely for God. It's no distractions. Nothing else is stopping us. It means that we're authentic and we're real and we're honest and our intentions are true and real when it comes to being with people or when it comes to just doing life in general. We won't try and do things so that we can get something in return. It's our true intention to serve God and to serve people. That's what it looks like to be pure in heart. And when it talks about being pure in heart, it says that those who are pure in heart will see God. What does it mean to see God? The audience that Jesus is speaking to here in the Sermon on the Mount is a Jewish audience. And their whole lives, they've been taught that no one can see God because if they do, they'll die. We think of the story back in Exodus when Moses goes up to the mountain to get the Ten Commandments. God says that he'll turn his back to Moses because if Moses was to see his face, he wouldn't be able to handle the glory that he would see and he would die. So the Jewish audience knows that this is what it's like to see God. It means that they'll die. But Jesus flips the script a little bit here in the Sermon on the Mount and says, you know what? Those that are pure in heart, they have access to see God. They have access to see God because of me, because I'm coming to die for every single one of you. That's what Jesus tells his audience here in Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. And when we see God, that means that we have extreme comfort. That means that we want to see and be like him and that there's no other distraction that's going to make us lose sight of who he is. I showed you a video on Sunday night. Let's watch it really quick. And I showed you this video because I feel like his heart was so pure. I feel like his motive was so pure. Like he was so excited that he had the avocado, right? And that's incredible because not many kids would be that excited. Honestly, I wouldn't be that excited if I got an avocado for my birthday or Christmas. I like avocado, but not to be that excited when I get the gift, right? But he was so excited to get the gift. He was so excited when he received the gift that his heart was so pure that he said, "It's an avocado. Thanks." And I think that if we have that same appreciation, if our heart is so pure that we can receive the gift that God has given us, then our lives will look different. If we can understand the gift he's given us, then we will never lose sight of him. We will continually see God, and our hearts will be pure because he's come into our lives to make us pure. You know, I've always been told my whole life that my actions need to be pure. The way that I live needs to be pure, but no one ever told me what it looked like to be pure in my heart. It was all about the action. It was all about doing something. But we can't do anything unless our hearts are pure. It's not that we do actions so our hearts can become pure. It's our hearts become pure first, and then the actions follow. Our love for God follows because he's done something within our soul. And as many of you might be hearing this and thinking, you know, in my life I've done some things that haven't been so pure. My heart always hasn't been pure, and I live with this stuff in my mind and the stuff in my past that I can't really get past. And I think of a guy named David who slayed Goliath, but later on, a couple years later, he made a mistake. He sent for his servants to get this woman that he wanted to be with, and he actually got her pregnant. The problem is, well, there's a lot of problems with this, but her husband, she was married, was out at battle for David's army. So he tries to bring Uriah back to be with his wife, so it looks like Uriah is the one that got his wife pregnant, but he wouldn't do it because he knew that his men were out fighting and he didn't think it was fair to go back to his wife. So David sends Uriah back out to the battlefield with a letter that says, to give to the commander that says, hey, put Uriah on the front lines to be killed. And he died. He was trying to cover up all this stuff, and he made a lot of mistakes. You know, he did a lot of amazing things in the past, but here he makes a mistake. And he realizes the mistake that he made. And in Psalm chapter 51, he goes to God and says, God, I need you to forgive me. I need you to make me new. And he says in verse 10, to create in him a pure heart. And I think we can do that too. I really believe that God wants us to come to him whenever we need a pure heart. Whenever we need to see him, we go to him first and say, God, I know I've messed up. I know that there's been mistakes that I've made, but you can create a pure heart in me. And you can create a new life in me so that I can serve you. And we looked at Micah chapter 7, and at the end of verse 19, it says that he will throw all our iniquities into the depths of the sea. He will take the sins, he will take the mistakes of our past and throw them into the depths of the sea. And I love this image because we can't get to the bottom of the ocean. We're just not able to. And here's the thing, we can't get the scuba gear out either. When God takes the sins of our past and gets rid of them, we can't go back to it. Because if we do that, we lose sight of him. If we do that, we're allowing distractions to get in the way of us and him. And in order for us to have a pure heart, we must allow God to get rid of the sin in our lives so that we can fully see him. That's what it means to be pure in heart. That we're real, we're authentic, and we focus on God. So if you want to see God, be pure in heart.